Well, I just noticed my first problem. Pouring water out of the back end back there. So.
Whoa. Hi.
Hi.
You have it upside down?
Pressure valve upside down. See what PSI it is. Okay, we've already figured out one trick with the dogs. Violet, go to bed.
Good girl.
Hey, welcome back to Angel Family Adventures and our Shakedown video. We're getting ready to take our RV to a local campground for a weekend just to make sure that we know how to work everything in the RV and to make sure we know what we're getting into for some of our bigger trips that we've got planned. So stick around and we'll show you all the things that we've got to do to get prepared to leave on our first trip. Also, head on down and give this video a thumbs up if you like the content that you're seeing. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click that bell icon to get notifications of our new and upcoming videos.
Those hands and lights can't stop me. I just hold on for dear life.
One of the first things I got to do before we go on our shakedown trip is de-winterize the camper. So I've got my water filter, I've got my 90 degree, I've got my pressure regulator, and I've got my short hose. I'm going to hook them up to my garden hose here at my house. I'm going to run water through the city water connection and turn all the faucets on, get all the RV antifreeze out of there, and then I'm going to fill up my freshwater tank, run it through there, flush all that out and everything like that. Everything is clean right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get that done, get everything flushed out, and we should be ready to go on our trip. A couple of reasons that I'm doing all of this with the pressure regulator and the filter and the short hose and the 90 degree, even though all I'm doing is just winterizing, is I want to get used to hooking all this stuff up. I want to get used to how to install it, how to put it all together before we go on the trip. I don't want to be sitting there at the campground trying to figure all this out and fumbling with everything. So I'll get all that done now, get all that out of the way. That way I know how to do it when we get there. A couple of things you want to do before you actually turn on the water in the camper to de-winterize everything. One, you want to go inside, you want to make sure that all your faucets are turned off. Two, you want to come outside and make sure your outdoor shower, if you have one, is turned off. And then next, you want to put the element back in your hot water heater. Now, since this is the first time I've de-winterized this, I'm now seeing this element. I'm going to end up ordering a new one of these elements, but this one will work for right now. Putting it back in there, you can see that that's got some pieces missing on it there. From what I've read, that's actually not too bad. I've seen a lot worse in some posts, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it anyway, just so I have that peace of mind knowing that it's brand new. Also, put some Teflon tape, some plumber's tape right there around that fitting, just to make sure that that doesn't leak. So I'm going to go put this in. I've made sure that all my faucets are off. I'm going to turn the water on. We're going to start de-winterizing. You've got your freshwater tank filled, you want to go through and turn your pump on. I've already got mine turned on here. Turn the pump on, turn the water again, just to be sure that everything's functioning properly. I've got my fresh tank full. I've turned my water heater on, letting that warm up, and I'll go and test the hot water just to make sure that everything's good. Something you want to make sure you know how to do before you take off on any long trip, and really before you're de-winterizing the camper, is how to drain your freshwater tank. Now mine has this freshwater drain valve right here. Let's unscrew this piece down here once I've filled up the freshwater tank, and it drains all that water out. So I'm going to go ahead and drain my freshwater tank after filling it up, so I'm good to go. Another thing you want to do when you're preparing for any trip, but especially when you're de-winterizing your camper, is check the tire pressure, the air pressure in your tires. Now these are marked at 50 psi cold, so I'm going to make sure that I'm right around that before we take off on this trip. Okay, so I've checked all four of my tires, and all four are at about 49 psi, so I'm going to grab my air compressor and put in about a pound of pressure in each tire, and I should be good to go for the tires on our first trip. Something I've seen a lot of RVers doing is having a checklist for your trip prep or before you leave. So I'm working on mine here. I'm going to finish up my list, and then what I'll do is I will print on 11 by 17 and laminate this list, and I'll have it hung up in the camper or somewhere nearby where we're going to see it before we take off on a trip, so we can make sure we check each one of these off before we go. Obviously, I'll go through this list and organize it in priority order before I print it off, but still working on it. This is what I've got so far. We ran into our first snag of the Shakedown camping trip. Propane cylinders are empty. Unfortunately, all of the local places that do exchange are out of propane right now, and the U-Haul location is about 15 miles in the opposite direction of where we're going for the campground. So we're going to go ahead and go to the campground. There is a Lowe's across the road and a couple of gas stations nearby. We'll see if they've got cylinders for exchange. If not, we'll do without this time.
We got our windows down, driving down the 405, sing along to the radio. We're gonna make it someday, nothing's gonna get in our way. We will be the biggest band in town.
Hey, so here we are, me and the kids and the dogs in my car following Jared. We won't all fit in his truck, so we decided since our shakedown trip's closer to home, I'll go ahead and drive my car. We need to go camping at Shelby Farms, get everything set up, do what we need to do, have some fun.
We're taking our shot, bring what you got. We're going all the way to the top. We will hear the sound of 1 million people screaming our names when we're backstage. We're playing loud, surfing the crowd. Everybody's jumping around. Yeah, that's the place where I wanna be. Going on stage, headline on a Saturday night. Oh, 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 Saturday night. I'm gonna quit my job, never wanna have no bars. I just wanna play my rock and roll like they do on the radio. Tommy's got brand new drums, and I still have my old guitar. And John said this next song's gonna be real good, if you know what I mean.
We have arrived. We've got everything pretty much set up. We're now putting away dishes and things like that we bought and have not put away yet. Kids are already back there in their bunks, coloring, having fun. We're going to do a run to Lowe's here in just a little bit. We got to get that propane that I mentioned, and probably pick up a couple of things that we might need. This site, the leveling jacks go down quite a way, so we're going to pick up a couple of blocks to put underneath those.
We got some smart thinking here going on. Got stuff that you don't want sliding around, but you're not going to move all the time. Command strips. Command strip it, and then you just stick it where you want to, and as you're traveling, it's not going to go anywhere. I say that.
This is why you go on a shakedown trip, to learn your RV, learn what you need to know. I'm standing back here by my hot water heater that I just now got working, because I didn't realize that there were bypass valves on the inside of the camper that I needed to turn on to let water get to the water heater. Now she's all fired up, we should have hot water.
We're taking our shot, bring what you got. We're going all the way to the top. We will hear the sound of 1 million people screaming our names when we're backstage. We're playing loud, surfing the crowd. Everybody's jumping around. Yeah, that's the place where I
So we are on our way to the off-leash dog park in Shelby Farms. Spent the night last night at the Agricenter International Campground. It was pretty good. First time in the camper, so a little bit of getting used to. The campground overall, we'll do a full review of that in next week's video. The campground wasn't too bad. We have an overview also of Shelby Farms and what it has to offer, because it's more or less attached to the Agricenter International area.
Need a new mattress.
Yes.
For sure, because my body hurts.
That is one thing. So we've got a memory foam mattress on our bed at the house, and we've become spoiled by that. So now sleeping on this regular spring mattress, both of us were slightly uncomfortable. So definitely something we're going to have to remedy there. I do find it kind of ironic. We live out in a suburb outside of the city, more country or out in nature than what we are now. And most people live in the city or in a city-like area, and they buy an RV to go out into the country. Well, we live somewhat out in the country, and we bought this RV and came into the city. So we did a little backwards. All right, so we brought the dogs over to the 100-acre off-leash dog park. That tree line you see in the distance out there, that is still part of the off-leash dog park. The road over here obviously is the limit on this side, and then it goes for quite a ways that direction past the tree line. All of this water right here is part of it. That tree line over there on the edge that you see past the water is the edge of it there, and then the tree line past the lake right over there is the end of it as well. But there are a lot of trails, a lot of things to do, a lot of area for the dogs to run. It's a really great part of Shelby Farms Park.
We'll live. They got grapefruit, salted caramel, strawberries and cream, banana, Nutella, vanilla, cookies and cream, or just strawberry? Just strawberry.
What flavors did you guys get?
I got strawberry. You got strawberry. I got cookies and cream.
Strawberries and cream. Nobody said go.
Shelby Farms is a 4,500-acre park and nature conservancy that is located in the eastern part of Memphis, Tennessee, and is one of the largest urban parks in the U.S. It contains lakes, natural forests, and wetlands for the wildlife inhabitants, as well as plenty of activities for the human visitors. Available activities include paved and natural walking and biking trails, kayaking, horseback riding, designated and stocked fishing ponds, an 18-hole disc golf course, visitor center, restaurant, event center, playground area, and of course, the 100-acre off-leash dog park. There is even a nearly 11-mile paved Green Line trail that connects Shelby Farms to Midtown Memphis. There is no shortage of activities for area residents and visitors to enjoy. We're back at the house. We've got the camper back in the yard. We've got things unpacked, and we're going over a list of things that we know we need to buy, as well as things that we know we need to fix after our trip, and really making sure that we knew how to work everything and that everything was functioning as it was supposed to.
Number one thing we needed was a mattress.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier in the video. That was definitely something that we noticed was a pain in our backs, was the mattress. We mentioned that it was a regular spring mattress. It's not. It's just foam, like a really odd foam. So it's not comfortable.
It's an RV mattress.
Yeah, it's not comfortable at all. So.
And then we need command hooks, or towel hooks to put dirty towels on as they dry or whatever else. And
speaking of towels in the bathroom, bathroom door handle does not have a lock on it, so we know we need to get one of those and replace that, as well as a toilet paper roll holder for the bathroom.
And a wine rack for the bathroom to roll up the towels and have them on the wall, so we have our storage shelves for other storage. And then for the kitchen, the paper towel holder, just so we don't have it laying on the counter.
Yeah, I want to get a paper towel holder for the outside storage as well, so I can have paper towels easily accessible without having to come back inside when I'm outside hooking everything up. And speaking of some other organization things, we need to get some organization stuff for the beds, so the kids have a place to put books, drinks at night, stuff like that. Also, an outdoor rug. That's definitely something we need. We tracked in a lot of dirt and debris and stuff like that at the campsite. Had to clean the camper several times, or the floor several times. So I want to make sure we get that outdoor rug as well.
And I want a rug for my kitchen. One, for my comfortability as I'm doing cooking, dishes, anything like that, but also gives another area for the dogs to lay, because they don't like just having their blankets on this tile floor. They want to be on the carpet, so something with a little bit more padding.
Yep.
And then more baskets or organizers for the cabinets, for keeping the drinks up for while we're in tow.
I think we're going to make a trip to IKEA, probably a trip to Target, a couple of other places, and see what we can find. Some soft side baskets. We'll probably end up using things not really as they're intended, but we're going to walk around and look and see what we can find and see if it'll work, for what we need. And the last thing that we really need, that you saw earlier in the video, is more Camco blocks. So you probably saw in the video the blocks that we went and bought from Lowe's. Those really don't work. They're not easy to haul around. They're big and bulky. So I want to get more of those Camco blocks to put underneath the leveling jacks, so that we can make sure we have enough of those if we get to a campsite or whatever. Some things that we need to fix.
Curtain rod, or the curtain holders.
Yep.
I think I'm just going to do away with the curtains.
Yep.
One that gets rid of soft surface for allergens and other things like that, but they're so oddly placed. You're going to catch your arm or your hip or
Well, they're oddly
something.
placed, and they're cheap too. We were eating dinner, and Olivia scooted over and broke one of them on accident. So they're just not very sturdy and not very practical, like she said, with where they're placed. Another thing is the USB outlets. So we have USB outlets near the stereo over here, and then also on the headboard above the bed to charge things, and we noticed that those USB outlets aren't working. So I'll go through and test the wires in those to make sure that we're actually getting power to the outlets. I've heard that these outlets that come factory in these travel trailers are cheap and they burn out quickly, so I'll test the wires, make sure we've got power. If we do, then I'll just go ahead and replace those USB outlets, and that should fix it. Also, kitchen faucet. We knew that we needed to replace this kitchen faucet because the button on the sprayer was broken. We actually had a small leak when we were at the campsite. I was able to fix that by tightening one of the fittings, but I'm going to go ahead and replace the kitchen faucet anyway because of the sprayer, so we'll go ahead and replace all that as well. And the bathroom drain in here is a little bit loose and it's got a little bit of rust on it, so we'll go ahead and fix that as well. So overall, not a whole lot of things that we've got to fix and buy. Like I said, we'll have some upcoming videos where we go over fixing some of these things, and we'll probably make a couple of trips to IKEA, Target, places like that to buy some things. We may end up with a little bit more than we need, but in some upcoming videos, we'll also cover what we bought, what it was intended for, and then what we used it for, and how we installed it. So stick around next week. We've got an upcoming campground review for the Agricenter International Campground, and we've also got a video coming up of the fixes that we did to the camper for all the things that we found. So thanks a lot. We appreciate you sticking around.
Make sure to hit like and subscribe.
Thanks a lot. See you next week.